8 Most Unusual Mummy Discoveries from Egypt. In this video, we'll explore 7 of the most unusual mummy discoveries from Egypt, each with its own unique story, some shrouded in mystery, and others revealing astonishing details about life and death in ancient Egypt. Lady Rai. Archaeologists were astounded when this mummy was discovered approximately 140 years ago in Egypt's world-renowned location. Lady Rai perished some 3,550 years ago at the age of 35, according to the packaging. Lady Rai was an ancient Egyptian noblewoman who lived during the 17th dynasty, around 1550 BCE, of Egypt's second intermediate period. Lady Rai was a nursemaid to Queen Ahmose Nefertari, the wife of Ahmose I, the founder of the 18th dynasty. Her mummy is one of the oldest examples of human remains that have been studied extensively by Egyptologists. Her mummified body is currently housed in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. Ramses II. The mummy of Ramses II is one of the most famous and well-preserved examples of ancient Egyptian mummification. Discovered in 1881 in a royal cache at Deir el-Bahari, his mummy provides remarkable insight into the life, death, and preservation techniques of one of Egypt's most powerful pharaohs. Ramses II's mummy was not found in his original tomb in the Valley of the Kings, which had been looted in antiquity. Instead, it was relocated to a hidden cache along with other royal mummies by 21st dynasty priests to protect them from tomb robbers. The cache was discovered by archaeologists in 1881, containing the remains of several famous pharaohs, including Seti I and Thutmose III. Ramses II lived into his 90s, an extraordinarily old age for the time. Ramses II's mummy is well preserved, especially considering it is over 3,200 years old. Ramses II's mummy is currently housed in the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization in Cairo. King Tut's mummy. Tutankhamun, also known as King Tut, was a pharaoh of the 18th dynasty who reigned during the New Kingdom period of ancient Egypt, around 1332 to 1323 BCE. His tomb, discovered in 1922 by British archaeologist Howard Carter in the Valley of the Kings, became famous for its wealth of treasures and the almost intact condition of its contents. For many years, the cause of Tutankhamun's death remained a mystery. Early speculation suggested everything from assassination to an accident. His tomb was richly filled with more than 5,000 artifacts, including jewelry, chariots, weapons, and the famous golden mask. These artifacts have provided invaluable insights into ancient Egyptian culture, art, and burial practices. Crocodile mummy. A team of archaeologists was working in the Egyptian city of Wadi al-Hidden. Their goal was to find mummies or buried wealth. However, their hopes were dashed when they discovered not one or two, but over 100 mummies that were not human, but crocodile mummies. These thousands-of-year-old crocodiles were expertly preserved. Initially, archaeologists couldn't figure out why crocodiles were preserved instead of humans. However, later, some writings were discovered on the shrouds of these crocodiles, explaining the riddle. The archaeologists were more interested in these texts than the crocodiles themselves. These writings discussed the ancient Egyptians' affinity with crocodiles, demonstrating that the early Egyptians worshipped crocodiles because they represented strength. During that time, ancient Egyptians created crocodile-headed statues with human bodies. Mummy with tattoos. Being a tattoo is considered fashionable today, but tattoos were also quite important in ancient times. Archaeologists discovered 7 mummified ladies with tattoos on their bodies at Tir el-Medina, Egypt. One mummy had over 30 tattoos. The archaeologists claimed they had never encountered mummies with tattoos before. Given this, it is not unreasonable to conclude that tattoos were significant even in ancient times. Egyptians, who were known for decorating everything from the Valley of Kings to hidden chambers within Karnak Temple, may have employed tattoos on the bodies of these 7 mummies, potentially as a sort of wall art, which played an important role in decorating the Valley of Kings chambers. The Screaming Mummy. One of the most puzzling mummy discoveries in Egypt is the so-called Screaming Mummy, which was found in 1881 in the Deir el-Bahari cache, a tomb filled with royal mummies. What makes this mummy unusual is its haunting facial expression, a wide-open mouth, almost as if frozen in a scream of agony. Theories abound about the identity of this mummy. Some believe it could be Pentawere, a son of Pharaoh Ramses III, who was implicated in a conspiracy to murder his father. Ancient papyri recount a trial where Pentawere was sentenced to death by being forced to commit suicide. The expression on the mummy's face could be evidence of a painful, violent death or perhaps reflects an unconventional burial practice. It remains one of the most enigmatic and chilling mummies ever found. The Mummy of Hatshepsut. Hatshepsut, one of the few female pharaohs of Egypt, ruled during the 18th dynasty and was known for her ambitious building projects and stable reign. However, her mummy was lost for centuries until 2007, when researchers identified a previously unknown mummy discovered in the Valley of the Kings in 1903 as Hatshepsut. What's unusual about this discovery is that her body was hidden in a modest tomb alongside her wet nurse. It was only through modern DNA analysis and the comparison of a missing tooth found in a canopic jar, used to hold organs, with the mummy's jaw that experts confirmed her identity. This discovery was a major archaeological breakthrough and offered insights into the reign of one of Egypt's most powerful female rulers. The Golden Boy Mummy. In 1916, archaeologists unearthed the Golden Boy, a mummy of a teenage boy, during excavations at the Saqqara necropolis. This mummy stood out because of the exquisite jewelry buried with him, including 49 amulets carefully placed between the layers of his linen wrappings. The most striking aspect of this mummy was a golden mask placed over the boy's head and a pair of golden sandals on his feet, both symbolizing his journey into the afterlife. This elaborate burial suggests the boy came from a wealthy or noble family, though his identity remains unknown. This discovery sheds light on the lengths ancient Egyptians went to ensure their dead were well prepared for the next world. Animal mummies. Animal mummification was a widespread practice in ancient Egypt, but some discoveries have been particularly unusual and surprising. One of the most famous examples is the discovery of millions of mummified ibis birds at the Saqqara necropolis. For many years, scholars believed these birds were offered as sacrifices to the god Thoth, who was often depicted with the head of an ibis. However, some researchers now suggest that these birds were farmed specifically for religious purposes, revealing an entire industry centered around the production of animal mummies. Beyond ibises, archaeologists have found mummified cats, crocodiles, dogs, and even baboons, raising fascinating questions about the role of animals in Egyptian religion and culture. The Mummy of Seti I. Pharaoh Seti I, the father of Ramses II, ruled during the New Kingdom and was known for his military prowess and building projects. His mummy, discovered in 1881, is often considered one of the most beautifully preserved mummies ever found. Seti I's body was expertly embalmed, with his face retaining striking detail even after more than 3,000 years. The quality of his mummification reflects the high status of pharaohs and the lengths the embalmers went to ensure the body was well preserved for the afterlife. His mummy, however, was not found in its original tomb but was moved to the royal cache in Deir el-Bahari for safekeeping from tomb robbers. The Gebelein Man. In 1896, archaeologists discovered the mummified remains of a man near the town of Gebelein in southern Egypt. Unlike the majority of Egyptian mummies, the Gebelein Man was not intentionally embalmed. Instead, he was naturally preserved by the hot, dry desert sands. What makes this mummy truly unusual is the cause of death. In recent years, CT scans revealed that the Gebelein Man had been stabbed in the back, making him one of the earliest known murder victims in history. The fatal wound pierced his shoulder blade and punctured his lung, offering a rare glimpse into the violent side of life in ancient Egypt.